Welcome to the Rich Girl Roundtable, episode number 5, with your host, Char Modell.
And Lisa Sutton-Gunderson, where ambitious women meet to have real conversations, discuss hot topics, and learn to live rich in every sense of the word.
Amen, girl. All right, so today our table topic is going to be about dating, marriage, prenups, and we are going to discuss pregnancy again, and just navigating relationships as a whole, again, for women who are ambitious, who own businesses, and are entrepreneurs. So, diving right in, how was your week?
It was great. You know, I just want to rave and shout out full service movers. So my husband and I, we own a home in Northern Nevada, and we decided to rent it out to tenants. And so we just had to take some personal effects and some artwork that's important to him. And they were wonderful. We hired these full service movers. They came and packed everything.
Oh, that's always
It's
nice
so
when they pack
nice,
things for you,
yeah,
though.
as opposed to just movers who show up to load boxes and put them on the truck, right?
I want ones that pack.
Oh my gosh, it was so nice. They came in, literally, you showed them what needed to be packed up, and they had all the packing paper and the filler and the tape and boxes, of course. It was just so lovely.
How long did it take?
It took maybe 5 or 6 hours.
That's not bad.
It wasn't, yeah, they were super efficient. It was four workers showed up, 4 movers showed up, and they just got right to it. And it was just awesome. They were so great to work with.
I will never not move without movers. The last 2 times I did, but I remember before that I would try to do stuff on my own, and I full regretted it. You never rely on friends either. You don't want to be like, what are we going to do? Get you a case of beer and pizza?
No.
Nobody wants a case of beer and pizza. They want their time and their money.
Yeah, it's
stop.
the
And they want their
worst.
back. They want to save their back.
Yeah.
They don't wanna be
If
climbing
you
upstairs.
love and appreciate your friends, do not ask them to help you move.
Amen.
At least for women,
Seriously,
right?
don't ask your friends to move. Stop asking your friends to move. They
Unless
don't
it's
want to
an
move.
emergency, you know, DV situation or something, you know what I mean? Where it's you need help right away.
And side note, I had a friend once that was like, will you help me move? And I was like, no, but I will help you come and pack a little bit. So it was but the actual moving, I don't even move my own stuff. I'm not going to go move yours.
I don't move my own stuff. We need help.
We need TaskRabbit or movers.
Yes.
If it's a small task, then I'd
Yes, 100% full service movers is the way to go. And the price difference was minuscule compared to what you're already paying for movers anyway.
Yeah.
To add on the full service option.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how convenient
cheap.
it was.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
How inexpensive the add-on was.
Yeah.
And I was 100%.
And they're better packers.
They're literally better packers than you are.
And I have to shout out, because one of my clients is 777 Movers.
Yeah, that's right.
They've been here for over 17 years.
Wow.
And I learned so much about moving and working with them. So anyway, guys, hire good movers. I'm going to shout out 777 because I trust them through and through. And they have the same team members that we started with over a year ago are still there. They don't
really
have high
nice.
turnover rate.
Usually, I feel like moving companies do generally have high turnover. So that's great.
Well,
love that.
I'm glad you got moved all the way down. You had stuff in Reno, correct?
Yes, exactly. So we had stuff up at that house there. So since we're renting it furnished to tenants, which is great, but there were still personal effects
For sure.
that we had to get. It was mostly Josh's Air Force stuff. He has gifts from squadrons that he was part of and
that's cool,
that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we wanted to make sure it was packed well and cared for and all that was nice. So,
well, my only rave for the week is pickleball. Have you ever played?
Yes, not well, but it's so fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Who plays pickleball out there? I'm just curious. I
think
love
more and
pickleball.
more.
Yeah, we don't really play by the rules exact or keep score. We literally just go with friends to kind of volley the ball and catch up. And it's such good exercise. And the funny thing is we went to Chicken and Pickle, but the crowd that it draws is so diverse. You'll have people that look like they are riding Harleys in one group next to us covered in tattoos. And then at the other side, it'll be Summerlin moms.
Right.
It's such a blend of people, but it's one of those sports that you can get I don't even know if you call it a sport. You know what it is, but
yeah,
you have fun. Yeah, I guess it is a sport because people do play seriously for it.
There's a professional pickleball league.
Have
you heard of this?
Right, I have, and I forgot.
There's a pro league. And
as there should be.
as there should be. No, it's definitely a real sport. One of my partners with the Veteran Fund, Mike Sherbakoff, we call him Pickles because he is a killer pickleball player.
That's
he
so
is
cool.
super athletic and just absolutely kills on the pickleball court so much so that literally he's made bets with people of if I win on the pickleball court, you're investing in the fund. Like it's that serious.
It's kind of a fun way to
This
win
is like
an
a $500,000 game.
Oh
like,
my gosh, there's a
and he
lot riding on the
wins.
line.
Mike wins.
Thank God.
Pickles wins.
And then you guys, and then you get more investment
Yay,
opportunities.
Pickles.
Go Pickles.
Go Pickles.
Well, rant. It's just a subtle one because I do want to get in our table topic early today. But I was telling you that like who doesn't have to deal with a little bit of anxiety? And my anxiety is not like my life is stressful, I can't handle my stuff, but it's directly correlated with the amount of time that I spend editing projects. And I'm still in the trenches. I edit a lot still, and I have editors, I have videographers, but sometimes still
You're editing for your social clients.
Yeah,
your social media
somewhat.
clients.
I go in and like my team will do stuff and I'm constantly tweaking it, and there's not a piece of content that doesn't pass through me. So like I'm still very involved with coming up with the strategy and the shot list and making sure that it's executed like perfectly, which requires still some touch-ups on my end. So any given week, I'm probably looking at like, I don't know, 200 to 300 pieces of content every week.
That's wild.
And
It's a lot of content.
Yeah, I'm on my phone for like, 8 or 9 hours a day, and my laptop working on this content. It's very content heavy, and eventually I'll move out of that way. But that's real reason why people hire us is because we're so good at not just content, but like executing on the captions, making sure that it grows the brand of the business. So there's more to it than just sitting there and creating a TikTok. And I'm still heavily involved in our small business in that aspect. I haven't found, and I will eventually, another me. Right now, it's mini assistants to me, and I have a few of those. So, but what it does is like overstimulation definitely impacts your nervous system, and so they know this. And like even if you like, I hate to say plug in your symptoms to AI, but sometimes I do, and it's like having overstimulation in your brain can put so much activity going on that it can impact your digestive system and cause butterflies and like nervousness. So I've been just kind of combating that for several weeks and lack of appetite. I've had no appetite for like 3 months. I'll still eat because thank God for Jeremy, like make sure I get my meals in and get my protein in. And thank God for him for that. But yeah, like it definitely impacts, and people need to talk about that in social media or just for editing content creators. I know they experience these things, but like you need a break sometimes.
Well, and that's why, especially like screen time with children,
Especially.
right? That's a huge, it correlates exactly with what you're talking about. And there's so many studies now that are saying, no, don't give your kid an iPad. Don't let them just sit and watch and consume content, because it affects their brain development, it affects their nervous system, all those things that you literally just talked about.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I'm definitely seeing on the parent side, or even like the reels that I get served about children development.
Yeah, and obviously we'll deep dive into this in another episode too, but they know it's studied. It's not like a false accusation to social media. They know that there's a direct correlation with TikTok and the uptick by 30% in Tourette's. I believe that it was 30% and the rise of Tourette's in kids. And that's why they had to create these guardrails for people on TikTok. It would like let you know that you've ran out of time and your parents
like, do you need a break or something?
Do you need a break? And you can set like limitations for your kids, because people were, wanting to sue, companies like TikTok for this. So it's pretty crazy. Anyway. But that was my little rant, and it's just a real one for people who work in my industry. You might experience these things, and we just power through it, girl, and you just take breaks away from it and get outside. And eventually, like I said, I'll offboard that more, which is a goal in the next year for sure.
And I would imagine with it being your profession, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, because
you're the expert.
You have to do it. Yeah, you have to be on it. You have to be consuming this content, because you're editing it and you're looking at it through the lens for your client. But
I edit every single one of ours right now, which is crazy, for our YouTube. And I always do it in the beginning first. Like when it's your brand,
Right, of course.
Be involved in the beginning. Do not expect other people to do it for you, or you'll end up with a brand that you don't recognize. Mm-hmm. And I set the foundation for what is supposed to be done, so we can create an SOP so somebody else can copy that.
Right.
But if you don't do it first, then what happens is you end up with many different experts telling you their opinions, and you're not sure which one resonates with you. And then you get a bunch of things at the table that don't feel like you, and that's why you need to be involved a bit. So for now, like, I am doing that, and then, like I said, I'm going to teach it to somebody else to take over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. Well, it's good. Well, I hope it gets off your plate soon.
I mean, it's important, girl. It's important.
It is, yes.
So tell me about your rant.
I don't really have one this week,
That's
which
good.
is nice. Yeah, it's been kind of like a calm, steady week.
I love that.
We spent, I spent most of it obviously up in Northern Nevada getting the home ready for the new tenants. And then we spent Father's Day out at Lake Tahoe, which was
it's so
so
pretty up
beautiful. The weather is perfect right now.
I saw the videos. It looked beautiful up there.
It was so beautiful. And so we just got a chance to, we were on a little boat, and Gabriel loves being out on the water. He took a little lake nap. Like,
That's cute.
yeah,
I love it up
so
there.
it was great. So we were just kind of zooming around, and obviously, I mean, the homes up there are just absolutely
Oh my gosh,
spectacular,
they're
stunning.
stunning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as we were going, actually, Kimball Musk, Elon's brother.
Oh, yeah.
He has a home up there on Lake Tahoe.
Oh, really?
And it's got this like
You saw
underwater, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it has this like underwater like ice rink. Like there's like all kinds of stuff going on in there. But yeah, it's like it's
the
all
cool
just
people
right
are in
along the
Reno.
water. It's beautiful.
All right. Well, we're going to hop right into our table topic. Listen up, guys. This is a good one because we did tap on it a little, but we're going to go in deeper into the pregnancy, the experience that Lisa had. I've had no children, so I can't talk about that part. But before we do, we forgot something very important. Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Oh, I spilled. That's okay. I need to take a drink, guys. All right, rich girls, diving in. Dating, marriage, prenups, and pregnancy. Let's talk about it. We're kind of going through the phases of life that you have as a woman or aspire to have or might have. And starting with choosing your partner. Yeah, I want to say, what type of person do you think you should attract? What was your list like in the beginning? Like, let's discuss this because we've known each other for over 16 years. We've been through the thick and thin of each other.
We've seen all the different boyfriends,
Oh my
all the
gosh.
relationships, all the different types of men.
We have, and we're like, okay, what stories to share, not share. We can't share too much to a certain degree. We don't want to edit ourselves, but we want to give respect to our past partners.
Yes, of course. And I will say each past relationship, even though it didn't, it didn't end up in like, I guess what we would consider like a successful result, right? It's not
Sure.
like you end up marrying this person, you stay with them forever, right?
Right.
Even though it ended up in a breakup, right, of past relationships,
It had
each
an ending.
one, it had an ending. Each one, I think, absolutely taught me something.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the relationships I had in the past were kind of perfect for that time period of my
Sure.
life, if that makes sense. But as a result, it definitely it made me realize, looking back in hindsight, it's always 2020, that I wasn't being intentional about the type of partner that I wanted to have.
Yeah.
It was more of like, what fits my lifestyle, what's convenient for me.
I remember that time.
Just very kind of maybe a selfish lens, more of a selfish
Yeah.
lens, because I was so focused on business and building.
It's so smart for you to be that way, by the way.
That's what worked for me in my
Yeah.
20s
Mhm.
and definitely like early to mid 30s. While I was in that grind season, that build phase. I mean, I still am in some extent, but not nearly the same as like 7 days a week grinding in my 20s
and you
and
build
early
together with
mid-30s.
Josh. Like, you guys are
Yes.
building together, and there's something to be said when you're building with a partner. There's a
very
different
different.
energy to that relationship
Totally.
than when you're just building apart.
Yes.
And you don't always have to do projects together, but you know what I mean? You kind of are like, I don't know if this relationship is going to evolve into something together or if it's going to like dissolve into two paths.
Yes. And I think, especially, at least for me, when I was in my 20s, I had this list, right? I think we all, girls, right? Like we make a list. We make a list of our ideal partner and we want to manifest him, right? And that list, of course, morphed and changed over time. And I mean, it's something she has seen me through it and lived through it. After a past relationship I had, I just completely revamped that list. And I looked at, okay, what qualities are on here that are going to be important for me for a lifelong partner, for someone who is going to be a great husband and a great dad. Sometimes those are not the same qualities that you're looking for like the hot guy in your 20s. Right? It's very different. I mean, sidebar, there was a time period where Shar dated like Chippendales and like,
I don't know if I was going to
He's
say
like-
that on here, but we're going to let it
no,
out.
they're super hot and nice and kind and like
No hate.
No hate at all,
But it was
no,
not
but-
going to work with my life for the bigger picture.
some of these men like didn't have a checking account. I mean, it was like, you know what I mean? Like they were super good looking and like no stability.
I dated like a man in the NBA.
So I bring up that example in direct comparison to Jeremy, who you're in this wonderful relationship with now. Yeah. And he obviously also very attractive, but he's super stable in every sense of the word in relation to, he's got a career. Yeah. He's financially stable. He's also a stable personality.
Oh, for sure.
Like all those things. Yeah.
And that's
great.
Tell me something ridiculous that you marked off your list that you used to have there before. We both had to. We both had to share one ridiculous thing that you were like, this is stupid. It's got to go.
Oh, gosh. I think for me, there was a period of time where I just dated professional athletes.
Okay.
And I had that on my list that he had to be a pro athlete, which, it's
never now.
Well, right. It's just not, it's not something that I pursue anymore. Sure. Because the lifestyle is so different, right?
That's what you got to look at.
Yeah. Like the lifestyle is just so different. So if you want to date a man who's on the road all the time, and, has a lot of opportunities in front of him in relation to women, like that tends to be a bucket there. But it just it didn't make sense for me to continue to have that as some sort of weird egotistical, I guess it boosted my ego.
Sure.
Right? Like having that on my list and having that as a man that I was attached to. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, like it boosted my ego. But really, like what else was it doing for me? Not very much.
Right. That's true.
In my personal experience.
I took off. They had to be 6'1" with 6-pack abs, which it was like all I dated. And then I'm like, this is so stupid. It was like an old thing I hang on to. Mm-hmm. And it was sort of like I took a sense of pride in being fit myself. And I was like, I need somebody. But then here's the thing. It wasn't that, and Jeremy's in great shape. And
I was going to say, Jeremy works out. He's in great shape.
So I was like, he's in excellent shape. And he's close to 6 foot. So we're getting there. But I would have knocked him off because he wasn't 6'1". That's so stupid. Mm-hmm. But I also, for me, it was this. I knew I kept dating the same person over and over, and I kept getting the same result, which for me was just disconnect and heartache. And I felt like I would give all of me, and I would meet the person 100% of the way, and they would only give like 30%. Mm-hmm. And it was like, instead of us meeting in the middle and giving, I don't want to say 50-50. You both give 100%. I was always given 150 to try to make up their lack. Mm-hmm. And that was it. I got to the point where I would continually just pick people. And I think
it's exhausting.
Yeah. You pick people that you feel like it repeats a pattern because you know that pattern and you kind of like, it's familiar and you get stuck there. But then I took time for myself when I had a relationship dissolve. And here was a guiding point for me is I was like, I don't know who I am outside of this relationship. And because of that alone, I knew it wasn't the right one for me because I put too much weight into it. Because if you and your entire personality and who you are, your identity is tied to a person and you invest everything into them, if something happens and that relationship dissolves, you crumble. And that for me, I crumbled, I completely dissolved. And instead of me blaming that person and being like, oh, because the breakup was terrible, I looked at myself and I go, what made you choose this person who clearly wasn't choosing you? Fix that. Mm-hmm. And would you date you? Mm-hmm. Who you are now, would you date you if you were the type of, like, you wanted to attract the right man that you desired to have? No, I wouldn't.
Right.
So I had to get my shit together and become the person that I wanted to date. And in that, I took a long time to be single. And then I attracted the right person, which was Jeremy. And before, I wouldn't have given him a chance because he would have been like, oh, he's too nice, or he's too stable. Like I was still kind of reaching these, I don't know, high passion personalities. Mm-hmm. And thank God for him. And then you just learn, everyone told me, and this too, it was like, you're such a better version of yourself with him. Like you're calmer.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys are building together. It just calmed my nervous system, which I hate to say it, but as Virgos, we can be high strung. I'm going to throw the Virgo thing out there. You know what I mean? But but he really calmed it and we were able to grow from that place since then. Mm-hmm.
And I look at like my time as Miss Nevada, right? I dated an athlete during that time and it was perfect for that time period because we were both just always out and about, and we were hitting red carpet stuff, and we were at every single event
Yeah.
and opening and whatever. And it was perfect for that time period
Sure.
because that was part of my job and duties and responsibility, was that like I was seen, I was out and about, and this person always he loved like being out and being seen and being part of that. And so it was great. But I realized after that relationship was over was that we didn't really have a close connection in the sense of like laying a foundation to build something that was going to be more longer term. And we were together for like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But we didn't lay that foundation because actually there wasn't a lot of even like really good communication internally, like between the two of us, because every time that we spent time together, it was actually being out.
Oh,
If that makes
it's like,
sense,
yeah,
right?
no, it does
we
make
were
sense.
we were always out. We were out
Sure.
together, but literally at an event or a gala or whatever, like you're talking to other people. It's not that it's just the two of you having, in-depth conversations.
It's hard to build intimacy from there.
Totally.
Or a real connection.
Yeah, a real connection. And so that was something that I had just kind of taken note of after that relationship passed, where I was like, oh, wait a second. Like, we didn't even really hang out with each other per se. And it's such a contrast now, obviously, with Josh, with my husband. He's my favorite person. Like, I love
you and Josh together.
I love spending time with him. And whether it's because we're grabbing a quick lunch or if we just want to like veg out on the couch together and watch The Mandalorian or something, like we spend just time one-on-one together, or just having an opportunity just to like debrief and like talk about our days. And just
Sure.
it's such a difference from other relationships I was in, where I realized after we actually didn't have a very close mental connection or personal in-depth connection because we were always out. We were always out together, but talking to other people.
Sure. I think in there, and I want to give a takeaway here because I have advice for people who are already in a relationship and they're not sure if it's the right one. This happened to me years ago, and I actually pulled it from a book called The Artist's Way, so it's not something necessarily new, but a lot of people haven't heard. I was stuck, and you know how you feel gaslighted by your own emotions? Is this the right relationship? I feel like anybody that's been in a relationship that dissolved has kind of been there, where they're debating because there's so much good. Like, there's so much good in this relationship, and it's hard to see the negative or the way it's slowly dragging you down if it's a relationship that's not meant to last. And the best way to get clarity is I woke up every morning and I journaled for 3 pages without putting the pen down. And I did that for 30 days. You dump all of your thoughts from your mind in the morning onto paper, and for 3 pages, you don't read it, and you put it away. At the end of a month, look at what was on your mind subconsciously when you first woke up in the morning. And mine was constantly negative stuff about this person, the anxiety. I also at the time worked in the nightlife, and I was constantly tired. And I said, oh my God, I'm so tired and I'm exhausted. And every day started with tired, exhausted, and something about this person that was gnawing at me. And at the end of the month, I flipped my schedule. I stopped doing nightlife events, and I cut off that person. And I wouldn't have been able to see it so clearly had I not read my own words for a month straight.
Wow. Yeah, that's really powerful. I would also say listen to your body, in the sense that
Yes.
I was in a relationship where there was like, he was a great person, but he had some other issues going on. And as a result, it created a lot of instability and drama and just heartache in the relationship. And the way that I am anyway, I store all of my stress in like my shoulders and my neck. I have like, right? Like just, it's just where I store my stress and business stuff. It's just what it is. When it's like very high stress times in the businesses, I know like my shoulders are just going to ache. It's just what it is. In that relationship, I had developed this like click on the back of my neck. And it was from this like knot that I had at the base of my neck. After that relationship, and that was a relationship I questioned of like, should we stay together? Should we not? We did this like breakup dance, get back together dance. I hate that. We did that. I became that person in the relationship where we did that. And when that relationship was finally done for good, it was over. I realized like it was like a week or 2 later, the knot in the back of my neck was gone.
See how it physically
like
manifests when you're with the wrong
crazy.
person?
It was really crazy.
And let's not get it twisted. It doesn't mean these people are bad people.
No,
it just means they're not right for you.
And it wasn't, exactly. That wasn't going to be the right relationship for me to
Sure.
build long term. And that was what created the stress because I liked him. And There were a lot of great things there, and I wanted it so bad to be a great long-term relationship. We were together for like 2 years.
Yeah,
I wanted it to be the relationship that we get married and have kids. Like that's what I wanted from that relationship.
And I knew that too.
Yeah.
I know. And so,
but it wasn't right.
No, and then when you leave those relationships, it opens up for you guys both to end up with the right person over time. And like, it doesn't have to be a sad ending. Like, I hate the word breakup too, because sometimes, I mean, look, there's some breakups. I've been one, but like, there's some breakups, you know what I'm saying? There's some breakouts. But it itself is sometimes it's just an ending. It's like, yeah, we have different goals. We have different viewpoints of what life should be like. One wants to travel, one doesn't. One wants to have kids, one doesn't. So it's about finding the right one.
Yes. And the second you make room for that,
gosh.
where I did all this back and forth and like trying to figure out like, well, is this the right relationship for me? I feel like it could be, but there's these things I just really don't like. Like as soon as that was done and I actually like kind of cleared out like, this is not the relationship for me for what I want for long term and what I want to build like for a family with a family. As soon as that happened, literally not even 2 weeks later, I met Josh. I met my husband.
Isn't that wild how that happens?
Randomly in Pahrump.
That gives me like chills
at a firearms event.
You make room for that person.
You make room. It was crazy. And I made a list right after that relationship ended. I like revamped my list, right? And it was one of those things where I looked at my list and I was like, what kind of person do I need to be to attract this embodiment of this list? And it was, someone who is family oriented and someone who's going to put the family first.
Sure.
And it was these qualities have nothing to do with like the physical attributes, which frankly we had been obsessed with for 15 years, right? 20 years.
We went through that.
And it has nothing to do with any of those physical attributes. And you're looking at like what qualities, what values alignment is there on this list that I also need to match to even attract this person. And I think about, the person I was in my 20s and early 30s of just like being out, being everywhere, like drinking a lot, like doing all these things. And Josh and I joke about it because he's like, I don't think I would have liked you that. And I was like, I don't even think we would have crossed paths. Like, like that's so not his jam.
I would have been a walking red flag.
Totally. Yeah, exactly.
I was a walking red flag. There's no way that the man I wanted that Jeremy would want to be in a relationship with me.
Right.
The girl in her early 20s, mid 20s to early 30s even. Like, there's no way.
Right.
We were the red flags.
We were the red flags. Seriously, yeah. Which just goes to show, right? Like, people can change.
Of course.
I think, the second that you get focused in on... So, ladies, if you're out there, maybe you already have a list in your phone. Maybe you need to modify that list. Instead of focusing on physical attributes, make a list of values. Make a list of values that are important to you. And then take it from there and see what kind of aperture that opens up in relation to the men or partner that you attract.
I love that too, because I don't know, I was pretty open in general about different cultures, but I don't know if I would have dived in. Dive in. I don't know if I would have invested in a relationship that was a completely different culture, but Jeremy's Chinese, Japanese, and Hawaiian, and they have a very different culture than I'm used to. Right. And I love it because it's actually like there's so much polarity in our like the way we are as people in some senses that it like we level each other up.
Yes.
Because like I'm the one that's like kind of out there wanting to go to be a social butterfly and do the events, although I do hole up at home and like to work alone. I'm very like, not that I don't like to work with people, but I like to be alone a lot too. I need that. But we do things together. Like we do the Vegas dining, and it's like we did it for fun. We did this foodie blog together, and so we pulled each other up in different senses to try new things. And I learned so much about his culture, and he taught me so many things about Asian. Oh my gosh, I learned so much about Asian culture, and I had to learn it all. It's like I need to learn about the Koreans being different from the Japanese, from the Chinese, from the Vietnamese, from all of them. And I'm so glad, because I feel like sometimes they're overlooked as a culture. And I mean, you're Asian, but we don't talk about it as much. And there's so much to learn from that.
Sure.
And I have learned a lot by being with him. And I'm so glad that I ripped up the old list for a new list. That's honestly been the best thing ever.
I love that.
I'm going to let you bring us into our next topic because it is hot, girl.
Oh my gosh.
It's
okay.
a hot one.
So let's say after you've revamped this list and you've made room and now you've met this wonderful person and you're all in, right? And now maybe you guys are talking about what a future looks like together. Maybe you guys are talking marriage. Maybe you're like starting to really envision like this could be it. Like I am so excited to spend my life with this person. Let's talk about, sometimes it's considered a dirty word, but I think it's important. Let's talk about prenup, ladies.
She said the prenuptial agreement word. Prenup is a dirty word, I heard.
Do you think asking for a prenup, green flag or red flag?
I think it's a green. You know why? Because that means that person has something to bring to the table.
True.
That person ain't broke, girl.
True.
That person's got stuff going on.
True.
You know?
And ladies, I will say, especially if you are getting married to someone and you are in your 30s, let's say, so now you've spent some time building whatever it is that you've been building, even if it's a W-2 job and a career. Along with that, you've probably got a 401k from that W-2 job. You've got some assets. Maybe you've bought a house. Who knows, right? So you've got some things that you've built up over a career of working.
Built, inherited. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
And you have to protect that in the best sense of the word, in the sense that it's 100% okay to enter into a great marriage with someone you love and respect, and they love you and they respect you, and you guys have the conversation about a prenup, and you have this premarital agreement that's signed before you get married.
And some people are going to say that means that you're going to probably get a divorce. That means that you feel like that this relationship is not going to last. What do I do if the other person is offended by the idea of a prenup?
I think if they're offended and refuse to sign, or if they're offended and they give you a lot of heartache about it, huge red flag.
Don't marry them.
Don't marry them. What I love about the prenup in our relationship and in our marriage, both Josh and I had assets that we were bringing to the table of things that we had accumulated previously. Everything from, his military career, his 401ks and all that kind of stuff that he had built up. He had some stuff that he had inherited. He had real estate. There were these things that he had built up. Obviously, I had built up real estate, business interests, companies, all these different things. And bringing all of that together, what I love about the fact that we have a prenup, I think it actually makes our marriage stronger in the sense that we're both choosing to be here.
Sure.
Because if, knock on wood, it won't, but if it were ever to dissolve for whatever reason, no one is getting a chunk out of someone else where it feels like unfair and like you're getting something out of someone else. It's all already been pre-negotiated, where we leave with what we came in with. What we build together is 50-50, and that's fair and fine, I think. But what we already came in with when we got married, that's what we each leave with. And I think as a result, it makes us strong in the sense that we're both choosing to be in this marriage. Sure. No one is staying because of what they're going to get, or you know what I'm saying? Like we're choosing to be in it.
You're choosing each other, and it shows that too. Here's the thing. I know that people are going to argue this in the comments. Women are going to say, "Yeah, but I don't work. He doesn't want me to work. I'm at home raising 4 babies." And then what? I'm left high and dry if he chooses to leave me, and he's been out, and I haven't worked in 10 years. Like, what am I supposed to do if this marriage lasts and I get nothing? What do you say to that?
Well, not legal advice. I'm not a family law attorney. But especially if you are a stay-at-home mom and that is something that you guys agreed to in this marriage, right? Where if he's going to be the sole financial provider, and your job and role is to maintain the household, CEO that household, and raise the kids, that is a job. That's a massive job, and that's a career that you build that is very, very valuable.
Agreed. We're sticking up for the ladies that are in these circumstances. And
yeah, so 100% you are owed 50-50 or whatever you guys agree to in the duration of what's built in the duration of the marriage. Maybe the prenup says, hey, whatever he comes in with, he's allowed to leave with. I think that's what we did. That's what we agreed to. And I find that to be fair. But we agreed to a 50-50 split of whatever assets are accrued during the time that we are married together, whether that's real estate, whether that's business interests, whatever that is. That's what we've agreed to. And so, there's a lot of different ways to kind of slice and dice this agreement. Obviously have counsel. I used, not sponsored, I used Amanda Stevens here locally in Las Vegas, and she did my prenuptial agreement, and she was awesome. So there's a lot of things you can put in there. If let's say, obviously, maybe you get married and you don't have children yet, but the plan is to have children, especially if you are taking that stay-at-home role. You can pre-negotiate a set amount that you would get paid for every year of child rearing.
Oh, yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff that you can put in there.
I agree. I think you should protect yourselves, ladies. If you enter a relationship and your man says, yes, stay at home, you don't have to work, I'm going to build, and make some money. And no, you need to have in writing what you would get, the percentage you would get from the duration of the relationship if things ended, to protect yourself.
Yeah, and it should be at least 50-50.
I agree. I think it should be 50-50 because he may not have been able to build that thing without your love and support. And raising children, I feel like we should be teaching that as like a job and a career, because we need to respect that.
It's a lot of work.
It's a huge role. Yeah. It's how we function as society. We would literally end and dissolve as a society if women weren't around to be mothers to their children. And we need to add more value to that. And yeah, you know what? There should be a price tag. You should get money for that. Like if you're in a relationship, you should be paid for that.
Yeah.
There are some relationships where they even get like, they like pay them like as an employee to do some of the stuff. Like they'll do some book work or help out a little bit. And then that way they do get a bit of a paycheck too on top of what you get. And look, I know it sounds unsexy, but then you get like you get like a piece of your own, you have your own money.
Well, and if you're in a relationship with someone who is the financial breadwinner and you are stay at home, you have to remember that the home, this stable environment that you're creating that allows him to go out and do all the travel that's needed for the work, to be at the office, 7 to 7 or whatever his schedule is, if he's like grinding right now, you are doing the hard work of providing this very stable, secure base for him to come home to at night and get good sleep and then go out and make more money the next day. So what you're doing is very, very valuable. And you absolutely should be fighting for that in a prenuptial agreement.
Get it in writing
before
ahead.
you guys get married.
Yes, before you get married, have these tough conversations. There's so many women that won't because they're afraid of the answer. You should not feel afraid of the answer. You should feel like that this man loves me, takes care of me, and we can find common ground on this topic where we're both happy and we feel respected if things dissolve. Okay?
I think if you're in a relationship with someone who you don't want to bring up a prenup, I think it could be a red flag.
It's a red flag.
And if you own a business, not getting a prenup is irresponsible, in my opinion.
I agree. I second that. I don't have one and I'm not married yet, but if we get married, we're going to have a prenup. And he knows that, and he agrees. He wants one too.
You've spent so much time, effort, and energy building up the business that you have, probably certainly with other partners, right? You haven't built it with this person that you're getting married to. Probably.
Sure.
So you have to protect that. Like that is an asset that you have put in your blood, sweat, and tears and your own capital into. It's absolutely okay to have an agreement that says, hey, listing out, this is the thing that I've built. Here's the ownership percentage that I have in it. And if things dissolve between us, I walk with that entire ownership percentage. I'm not giving you half of it or whatever percentage just because you're my ex-spouse.
Yeah, I feel like it allows people to exhale and quit stressing over the things in the relationship that they didn't talk about ahead of time. You want to tackle these before. That way, when you're in the relationship, you're not worried and wondering, oh no, if I leave, am I left with nothing? Is this person going to take everything that I've owned and that I built? It's a scary position to be in, and you don't want that. You want to make sure that those boundaries were drawn together so that way you can have a healthy, happy relationship and it's not going to be dependent on money.
And I think having the prenuptial agreement conversation actually makes the relationship better. There's more transparency, there's more honesty upfront before you guys get married, because part of the prenuptial agreement is actually each person has to list out on the schedules all of their assets. You're talking about bank accounts, you're talking about crypto accounts, you're talking about retirement accounts, you're talking about business interests, stocks, like all these different assets that you each have. You're supposed to be honest and transparent and complete and truthful with these schedules. Everything's listed out. And so now, like, the clothes are off, right? Like, you each get to see what the other person has, and that's part of the agreement of like, here's my bucket of stuff, and I'm walking into the marriage with all of this in my pack. And if things dissolve, I'm taking my pack back and walking out.
My backpack back.
Yeah, I'm taking my backpack back with all my stuff in it, and we go our separate ways.
I'm taking the backpack.
Yeah, like I'm slinging it over my shoulder, and we're going. But it lays it bare. And there's some people who get married and don't have a conversation.
Oh my gosh, so
around
scary.
finances,
and you don't even know if they're in a lot of debt. And let me tell you, ladies, I refuse to be in a relationship with someone with a lot of debt.
Can you imagine
actually on my
someone?
list.
If you married someone and you didn't know that they had a ton of debt, it's super scary.
It's so scary because guess what? That's your debt now.
It's super scary.
I did have on my list, I needed somebody that was financially sound and had a decent credit score, because I've seen it firsthand. People struggle because they couldn't buy anything. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't buy anything. Every single day, it was like living check to check and trying to get their head above water, and they could never get out, and they were drowning. I refused. But guess what? I brought a good credit score and savings and everything to the relationship too. Like, like I knew I needed to have that as well.
Yeah. So important.
I have to read this because we're moving on to weddings. And this study was kind of funny to me. One study found that the bigger the wedding bill, the higher the divorce risk. Studies show that if you spent over $20,000 on a wedding, there was a chance of 3.5 times higher divorce risk than those spending $5 to $10K. Couples who spend less than $1,000 on their wedding had way less divorce risk.
Wow.
1,000, not even 5. 1,000, it dropped dramatically. What's your take on that?
I believe that because even through my 20s and 30s, I have been a bridesmaid in some of the most lavish weddings. I'm talking like Palm Beach, like all of us bridesmaids got these Christian Dior dresses. I mean, it was like such a thing. Yeah, I was 28 and a girlfriend of mine got married to this like really amazing plastic surgeon. And so yeah, we got these like Christian Dior bridesmaids dresses. It was such a thing. And it was, I don't even know, hundreds of thousands of dollars for this fabulous Palm Beach wedding. They got divorced in like less than 3 years.
It's
like
sad.
It just happens, you know?
Like, I understand. You know what? If you have the money to blow and you want to blow it, that's fine. I don't think we're talking necessarily even about that. It's the stat just rings true. It's like you spend more, you tend to have more divorce. And I think it's because a lot of people go into debt for their weddings. They go into debt.
Going to debt is crazy.
They save for years. And let me tell you, the amount of accumulation and hours that you spent making that money to go into debt for a wedding like that, you put a lot of weight on that wedding. You put less weight on the marriage and more weight on the wedding. And then when things don't go as planned, 3 years of work down the drain, you're crushed. Your dreams are crushed because it didn't go as planned and things didn't happen the way you wanted it to. And then all of that stress and that energy going into the wedding instead of the marriage itself, or maybe something you're building together, like where does that leave you after the wedding's over? In debt, struggling to pay off that day that you probably will hold against each other when you have a fight.
It's crazy. And I think there also has to be alignment around the wedding itself.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship where you're pushing for some big lavish wedding and he's super not into it, I feel like that's also just a precursor for a higher chance of it dissolving. If he doesn't want
to be involved in any of it,
right?
Maybe not.
If you're doing all the planning and all the things and he's literally not even enthused, like it could be a misalignment.
What do you think about those influencers that have collaborations during the wedding to get part of it paid for?
I mean, I again, if both people are on the same page, I think that's great. Like, that's your jam, do you? But I mean, when we know some influencers who they're more focused on what it looks like and how it appears online and on social, and meanwhile their partner is like rolling his eyes, doesn't really want to be part of it, is kind of begrudgingly doing it, the spectacle that they're participating in. And I just feel like that's just another fissure of like misalignment in relation to the relationship. So you've got to have those conversations up front, and hopefully you're marrying someone who the two of you are very aligned in relation to what do you guys want, like this wonderful day to be, this day of like union and coming together and family and creating a new family together. What do you guys want it to be? And if there's alignment there, Josh and I were very much aligned in that. And that was also lovely because I had conversations before in previous relationships where we'd maybe like jokingly talk about like a wedding or whatever. And I've been in relationships before where their idea of the wedding day was like not what I was interested in.
Not what you had in mind.
Yeah.
And that's like or it's just a discussion. I don't have a problem if people do collabs if it's not like the overarching energy of it where it's like obvious. It's like, this is sponsored by, I feel like it's just setting yourself up for failure already. I actually keep most of my relationship very private. In fact, I had somebody ask me, "Are you still with Jeremy?" the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm with Jeremy 24/7." I like don't put it all out there, and we're so happy. But I like protect the relationship, and I don't make him be a part of my brand.
Right.
He's a part of me. He's been in a relationship with me, but I don't make him be my brand. Like, don't force men into the corner if they don't want to be a part of that. Right. Oh, here, hold this in the wedding. Cheers. We're gonna this is for the champagne sponsor, and then now you gotta, I don't know, kick your leg up, do a dance for this sponsor. Like, maybe not drag them into situations if they don't fully want to be a part of it. So that's what I would say on that one.
Yeah, definitely just a conversation and just having a chance to plan the day of like how you guys want to enjoy that day and have it be special for you guys, for the family. I mean, truly, like the wedding usually is for everyone else, right? Like you are concerned about like, is everyone having a good time? You know, all those things. But with Josh and I, we did a civil ceremony when we initially got married in 2024. And it was lovely. We just had close family come in, and we made a weekend of it, and it was the best time. It was
the photos from it.
It was so lovely. It was so wonderful, and it was the first time that our extended families also had a chance to be together and spend the weekend together. And so we took them on like a helicopter tour of the Grand Canyon, and we went to a show at the Sphere all together, like as one big giant family. But the actual ceremony was literally in downtown Las Vegas, at the clerk's office. And it was wonderful. And it was just so lovely and intimate.
It was about you two together that day, and then you can redo it, and you had another wedding
and then a year later,
for the friends and everybody celebrate with you.
And then a year later, we did like the big fancy Catholic wedding in the church. We did Gabriel's baptism at the same time.
I love that.
And so we got a chance to have all of course, our extended friends and family. Yes.
I got to be there for that one.
Come in to celebrate like the big day, a big celebration with us. And that was so much fun. And I'm so happy we did it that day because having that moment of just really the two of us, and there was like 9 people in the room downtown, just family, of course. And it was just really special and intimate. And it's something I'll remember forever.
I love that. It was about you two, and it wasn't about the money being spent and all the lavish stuff, which later I think is great. Like, I feel like if we got married, then we would, I don't know. I wouldn't mind to do something small. I don't have to spend a lot of money. So, and I think it's so important to like make it about you, regardless of the money spent. If you feel like you're losing each other in the wedding planning, that's a red flag.
Yes. And we almost actually wanted to do an elopement where it was just very, very small. But it was very important for Josh's Mima to be there, his grandmother.
Yeah.
And she is older, doesn't travel super well. So just getting her here to Vegas was like
a lot.
Yes. And so, us doing some sort of elopement like in Europe or, somewhere else where it was just even more difficult to get to, that's why we didn't go that route. But that was initially the route that we were
do an anniversary
talking about. Yeah, exactly.
You do a wedding vow renewal.
Yes, we will.
I think we have just a few minutes to go on the last topic a little bit. Can you bring us into it, because this is going to be all you?
Oh my gosh. So everything I thought I knew about pregnancy and labor was wrong. And I don't know if it's maybe just kind of Western culture, but even if you like watch movies or TV shows, right? And there's the moment where like, oh, her water breaks and they rush her to the hospital and it's this terrible, painful ordeal and affair. And she's like sweating and grunting and doing all these things. And now all of a sudden the baby appears, but it's after this like horrible turmoil, worst pain of her life, all this stuff. And I had initially just told myself, okay, well, that's what it's going to be. And that's what I'm going to expect. And then I was so fortunate to meet a doula. Her name is Regina, and she's here locally. And a doula is not a medical professional. She's literally a mindset coach. So as a business person, right, and as a business owner, I've hired consultants. I've paid for coaching. I've paid for mentorship. I am no stranger to paying good money for help from an expert.
Yeah.
I'm happy to pay that all day. And what I realized with a doula is that essentially this person is a mindset coach.
Interesting.
Yes. And I am obsessed with her process of working with me. We started working together when I was pregnant. Mm-hmm. And essentially we did these sessions where she was like, you have to understand that your body is meant to do this. Pregnancy, your body is going to respond to the pregnancy. Your body's going to respond to the baby. Your body's going to respond to labor, and it intuitively is going to know what to do. So this is not something, it's not a condition. Pregnancy is not a condition where you're sick and you have to go to the hospital because you're sick. She was like, you're not sick. Like this is a very normal, natural condition of the body.
Yeah.
And so I loved that mindset. And then I actually did an unmedicated water birth.
Get it, girl.
I had no tearing. I had no like C-section, any of that kind of surgical drama as well. And it was, I had none of that. It was the most benign experience you could have, like pushing out a small human.
Good job.
And
That's great.
But Regina was in the room with me. And, you know, what I have to commend her for is, again, just keeping me in the mindset where, and no one talks about this, right? Everyone talks about all the pregnancy hacks and here's what to eat and here's how you work out and all these things. And no one really talks about labor. And this is a conversation I've had privately with my girlfriends who were pregnant and ended up, you know, delivering children. And I said, look, here's what I learned through this unmedicated water birth, no tearing experience that I had, is that I have spent 9 months, when you're carrying the baby, right? You spend 9 months communicating with the baby in the sense that you can feel, like I felt Gabriel like kicking. I felt him moving around. He was getting bigger. Like sometimes he'd be like on my left side, so I'd compensate and lean over on my right side. Like you've spent 9 months communicating with this baby. And so why, and this is just my personal opinion, getting ready for labor and delivery, why would I want to say, shoot me up with an epidural so I don't feel anything from the waist down, because then now I'm not able to communicate with him. Labor is also hard on the baby. Every time that there's a contraction, that's literally the natural way of your body like ejecting out this baby. Every contraction is like this push out, right? It's hard on the baby too. It's not like they're just like hanging out. Like they're literally getting pushed out. So it's hard. They're getting evicted, right? Pack your bags, you're out, right? Eviction notice. And it's hard on the baby too. So to me, I was like, I'm not going to not be there for him. Like I want to make sure I'm there and present and can feel what's going on. I'm glad I did, because there was a period of time where actually he was really more focused on my left side and he was like cradled down on my left side. So because I had this water birth, I had a space enough to kind of like move around and like be on my knees for a while, or stand and squat for a while, or like just move around as opposed to just like laying on my back.
Sure.
Very different positioning.
Yeah.
And with the actual labor part of it, you know, because you can feel them. Have you ever had a Charlie horse?
Yes.
Okay. So ladies, have you ever had a Charlie horse in the sense where you can feel it coming, right? And then it's like super intense and then it releases. And then you can feel, you might feel another one coming. So that's exactly, or at least for me, I equated it. That's what a contraction felt like, in the sense that you can feel it coming. There's like this kind of a rise, and you're like, here it comes. And then at the most intense part, which lasts maybe like 30, 60 seconds, the most intense part, I'm pushing with every fiber of my being. I'm pushing through the most intense part of the wave. and then it descends, it releases.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel another one coming, right? So for me, like every contraction was bringing me closer to meeting the baby. So
That's
mentally,
cool.
I was
Yeah.
like welcoming them, even though of course it was painful, but it's for me, it felt less painful in the sense I was pushing at the moment that it was the most intense.
Yeah, like you knew what to do. Your body knew what to do, and you were trained instead of just relying on medication.
Yeah, or like some monitor that's telling you
Oh, that's not a
when
good
the contraction is
experience,
peaking. You know what I
imagine.
mean? It's
Yeah.
better you know when it's peaking because you can feel it. It's the most
Sure.
intense. And so you're pushing in that moment as opposed to pushing when it's not intense.
Yeah.
Now you're just almost working against your body. And I definitely believe that's why I had such a short labor. I had a 6-hour labor.
Wow.
And that was,
impressive.
and again, no tearing. Like I literally just pushed through every most intense part of each contraction. And then the baby came. Like
Yeah.
it was, again, like this experience where I went inward, right? And I just really focused in on like, okay, like every contraction brings me closer to meeting the baby.
You were connected to the baby the moment and everything that was
Yes,
happening.
I was
at
like,
once.
I'm here, like we're doing this together.
Yeah.
And so mentally that's where I stayed. And
Yeah.
I think that really probably helped a lot with the pain.
Yeah.
Right?
And probably
Because
the recovery.
I wasn't focused on the pain.
Yeah, probably the pain and the recovery, I imagine. Mm-hmm. I love that. It was a beautiful story. I feel like it could help a lot of women who's debating on doing the medication route. And look, it's no diss if you decide to go
Everyone
that route.
everyone has a different pregnancy journey. Everyone has a different labor journey
Mm-hmm.
as well. It's all about what you want to do. And that's the beautiful part, is that you get to choose. But if you do choose and want to explore an unmedicated route, there's a lot of research on this now where, because they call it interventions, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's, if they do an epidural where you don't feel anything, then, maybe baby's heart rate starts to go up
Right.
because you're pushing at a time that maybe it's not ideal when you're pushing, whatever it is, right? There's all these different factors that can kind of enter the equation. And then if baby's heart rate's going up, we have an emergency C-section,
Sure.
right? Like it's like intervention leads to another intervention leads to another intervention, and you end up with a C-section. Sometimes that's what happens, and that's a pathway for some women, and it's not what they wanted.
And it sucks because if they feel robbed of that experience, I know, and I've seen people talk about that online. Actually, a friend of mine felt robbed of that experience because they told her she
Yeah.
couldn't have a at-home birth, and she really wanted that. But there are our situations, and we're not. It's like I said, it's no judgment if you choose that route.
Yeah, totally.
But I think it's really valuable that you discussed the alternate, which isn't discussed a lot.
Yeah, and know that you have the option to say, hey, I want to have an unmedicated birth, or I want to try at least. I want to try to have an unmedicated birth. And then the water birth that I did was not at home. It was in Nevada's only freestanding birth center called Serenity Birth Center. It's here in Las Vegas. And I had a really great experience with
Shout
them.
them out. That's good.
Not sponsored.
We're up for our time today, but we're gonna discuss these topics even more in depth as we go through, because like we said, this podcast is built for ambitious women and the things and the challenges that they deal with, the desires that they have, things that they want to achieve, and how to navigate life overall and build one that they're happy with and they feel fulfilled and rich.
Yes.
So stay tuned for more, because I know we had a lot more we wanted to cover on the pregnancy topic and more, and just navigating relationships through your ambitious, female-driven, powerful-driven life.
Yes.
But thanks for being with us today, and thank you for sharing that story. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.